have a dream. My four little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Good morning, SK. I'm Lana Duque. As you know, we had Monday off. That day was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, made to honor Martin Luther King by going out, serving your community, and fighting for equality among everyone. This past year has definitely been a historical landmark, so let's take a quick look at what has happened. On May 25th, George Floyd was killed due to an act of police brutality. This led to an uprising of Black Lives Matter and police brutality protests. These protests peaked on June 6th, when people gathered in cities all over America to fight against systemic racism and share their stories. 2020 is very likely to go on as one of the biggest uprisings of equality in recent history, and it's important to continue standing up for what's right. Now on to news. Attention all artists. Do you want your work showcased on every episode of WTV? Well, we're looking for a new backdrop, and we want one of you to make it. You should submit a 1 to 2 foot piece of art showcasing SK, its history, and maybe even the South Kitsap community. For more requirements, email sktv@skschools.org for more information.
Hey SK, I'm Nathan Chen. In athletic news, last week SK saw its largest gathering in months. Athletic conditioning started last Thursday on the Ed Fisher Field. Coaches were expecting 50 students but ended up with over 100. Athletes got nearly an hour of workout while staying masked. More conditioning workout days are on the way, with ones on Tuesday and Wednesday this week.
1, 3. 1, 2, 3, wall!
Those wanting to join must complete the required paperwork online or in the athletic office. Also, the tentative start date for Season 1 sports is February 1st. Stay tuned for updates. Now, let's take an SK athlete from the past. June Fike graduated SK in 1976, the same year she got the title Female Athlete of the Year. She has won multiple awards and titles, including her SK record javelin throw of 154 feet and 1 inch. Any SK javelin throwers out there are open to challenge that record. She went on to play for OC and ended up graduating from the University of Puget Sound. She holds an International Volleyball Association certificate for coaching. She went on to teach SK for 29 years while coaching volleyball and softball, and then went on to teach and coach at Orchard Heights for 20 years. Now let's pass it over to Lana for career news.
Thanks, Nathan. Class of 2021. Are you interested in getting some scholarships? Well, look for the link below for the list of scholarships and their deadlines. Don't wait too long. Are you interested in working for Boeing? Well, the manufacturing internship and fellowship program is now available for applicants. For more information, please check the links below for the flyers. Now on to club news. In honor of MLK Day, Green Team cleaned up Beach Drive for a day of service. Thanks, Green Team, for keeping our planet clean. Speech and debate competed in the Thomas Jefferson Tournament over the weekend, and our very own Nathan Chen took first place in Congress, and Regina Opinal took 4th place in oratory. Congratulations, Wolves, and way to go. Skills USA Math is having a guest speaker this week, assistant wrestling coach Connor Hartman. What is he going to talk about?
That's more about just like financial literacy more than anything else. And also going into my career a little bit, just diving into what it means to be a financial planner, and that might be a viable career for some people.
If you would like to hear more from Connor, attend Math Club this Thursday after school. Contact Miss Bresser to get the Zoom link. Graphics Club and ASB are having a popcorn fundraiser. Treat yourself to some delicious popcorn this week only. Email Miss Dutry for more information.
Now it's time for Pets of the Week. Meet June, a 6-month-old Maine Coon and Lynx mix. This adorable feline belongs to Kalina Moody. June is very playful and loves to play with his favorite scrunched ball. Next up, we have Jasper. Jasper is under a year old and has a heartwarming friendship with his puppy pal Jax. Finally, we have Dusty. Dusty is a 1-year-old French bulldog that belongs to Ashton Phillips. Fun fact, Dusty's grandfather is the King of England. This makes Dusty a prince. I had no idea we had royalty so close to our school. We close out the show by looking back at why we celebrate the life and accomplishments of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Life for an African American before the 1960s was brutal. African Americans were forced to drink and eat from stations away from white people and herded into different buses, houses, hotels, and schools. Segregation existed in every state to some extent, but it was worse in the South. There came a point when a man by the name of Martin Luther King Jr. decided to stand up and dare to say no, this is not acceptable. With a goal in mind and a powerful voice to back him, King had arguably the largest impact of any civil rights activist of his time. King was a devoted pacifist, but his peaceful protests were not always met with peaceful opposition. King dedicated nearly 10 years of his life to making sure civil rights became a reality. He founded several organizations and organized dozens of protests, almost all of which were readily met with tear gas, hoses, and clubs being wielded by men intended to beat down the movement. Yet, despite all of that, King kept on going, kept on fighting, knowing very well at any protest, any gathering could be his last. Eventually, his day came.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
We set aside one day each year in loving memory of one great man's contribution to our country, not simply for his impact on the civil rights movement, for the turmoil he encountered for standing up for what he believed in, for his personal sacrifice, so that America could one day become an accepting nation.
Even though he passed over 50 years ago, his words hold more weight than ever before. It is up to each and every one of us to hold true to his words and his dream, so all of us can have a brighter future. See you next week, SK.